All right, so I always think it's important to be humble when you're wrong. It's one of my core kind of qualities about who I am. When you say something and it turns out to be untrue, I think you should have the balls to own it and wipe that egg off of your face. So IWC, this is your chance. You guys need to admit you were fucking wrong about CM Punk. And you guys need to issue every member of the casual wrestling community a formal apology for your blatant disrespect of our knowledge that we had about CM Punk. You guys wanted so badly for CM Punk to return and fall flat. You guys tried to shit on every moment, shit on every promo, shit on every hope and dream we had about CM Punk. And since his return, there's just been no problems. Not only is Punk fitting in WWE, he is absolutely thriving right now. He's mentoring people in NXT. He's playing well with people in the locker room. You guys remember all of those AEW voices and whispers that the locker room just wasn't going to accept CM Punk. If he came back, there would be revolution within the WWE locker rooms. But that's gotten pretty quiet. I mean, he even came on television this past week and apologized for leaving the WWE universe the way he did 10 years ago. Now, you can see all these people who are calling bullshit on this, but as somebody who tends to have a little bit of a curmudgeon attitude, I do genuinely believe that CM Punk is regretful for the way certain things went down. There is a part of me who has been kind of cherishing the CM Punk return like it was a limited time event. Like maybe, he'll be here 4 or 5 weeks and then things will fizzle and there won't be the response. But I absolutely was wrong. I think that CM Punk is around for the long haul. I think with this new attitude with the crowds, the crowd has embraced CM Punk. Everybody always says, oh, they're not going to embrace Cody Rhodes. We embrace Cody Rhodes. Oh, they're not going to embrace CM Punk. We embrace CM Punk. And he's done exactly what he needed to do to win the crowd back over. He came out first Monday Night Raw and he nailed that promo. Just basically laying out, I'm back. I'm happy to be home. It didn't appease the IWC. It didn't appease the AEW haters, but it did exactly what it needed to do for the casual WWE fans that needed to feel like CM Punk was happy to be home. Then he went over to SmackDown and he started planting little seeds and little nuggets to get us excited about all of the possible dream matchups that we could get with CM Punk back. Then he jumps back to Monday Night Raw, announces that he plans to be a Monday Night Raw superstar. He has his first verbal showdown with Seth Rollins, which guess what, guys? It was as fucking good as we wanted it to be. It was as fire as we thought it was going to be. It was everything that we thought Seth Rollins and CM Punk was going to be. This is just the beginning, and oh shit, are we on a path of wrestling beauty for the next 2 or 3 months. And guess what, IWC? Here's the beautiful thing that I don't know if you guys are smart enough to let this register in your head. There was no producer listed for the segment between Seth Rollins and CM Punk. Now, take a second. There was no producer. You guys know what that means? Let me break it down for you. That means that 2 grown-ass men who possibly maybe don't like each other. I don't think that it runs as deep as people think it does, but I think at one point they didn't like each other. These 2 grown men put their differences aside and they went into a ring and they had a fire-ass promo on their own. WWE is about to let these 2 guys cook on their own. Sometimes I wonder if CM Punk had forgotten what it felt like to work with fucking adults. Shout out to Seth Rollins, who I assume at one time had legitimate heat with CM Punk, but he puts that behind because what? He knows this is going to be the biggest program in all of wrestling. There's a chance this is bigger than Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes as we turn the corner on WrestleMania. That promo felt good. Like, no pun intended, that promo felt very raw. Real emotions, real feelings, but it's 2 guys with enough respect for each other that they're going to let it get a little spicy without getting out of hand. I think it might be a tough pill to swallow for a lot of the wrestling world right now that CM Punk has come back and he's done everything so well that it sounded like to me that there's a possibility CM Punk was the more liked superstar in the ring on Monday night. And I think, the problem is that CM Punk knows how to roll with Seth's jabs. Seth is going to jab at him for being gone, and CM Punk knows how to turn that around and make it a struggle and make it seem like it was all part of a process to get him where he had to be. This is going to be an absolute clinic on how to do promo work from both guys. Both guys are absolutely good at this. And the IWC is so fucking lost right now because they expected CM Punk to come back and stir up a shit show. And instead, what we've gotten is corporate CM Punk. And they're going to try and talk negative about this, but there's nothing better for WWE than a corporate CM Punk, a guy who understands exactly what he needs to do to better the company. That doesn't mean he can't be fun. That doesn't mean he can't be anti-establishment. It just means that he knows everything he does is for the betterment of the company. And the IWC created this version of CM Punk. The IWC created the version of CM Punk that is showing up at NXT and mentoring younger wrestlers. Imagine this. This is such a hard concept to grasp for so many. Imagine a wrestling company where a old grizzled veteran shows up, talks to the youth, and the youth actually pay attention to what he has to say because they understand that a guy like CM Punk has gotten over before. He has reached that level, that God level of wrestling that only guys like Stone Cold, The Rock, John Cena have reached before. And these young guys, these young guys are embracing it. These Cora Jades, these Carmelo Hayes, these NXT wrestlers are embracing the return of CM Punk because it's only going to benefit them in the long run. Hey, IWC. You guys, pay attention. IWC, listen up. Listen when I talk. Are you guys still willing to argue that CM Punk was the problem in AEW? Because from where I'm standing, CM Punk has come back and he's been a model citizen, right? CM Punk has come back. He made up with Triple H. He was a bigger man. Not bigger than Triple H, but he was just the big man. They both put their differences aside, and they were able to create something absolutely special. And now CM Punk is at NXT, mentoring the youth. He's in the locker room, shaking hands, making things right with a lot of guys who didn't like him, guys who like him. They all now are under the understanding that, hey, if he's going to come back and he's going to get along, he's putting eyeballs on this product. And apparently, from what I'm reading, the CM Punk merch has sold through the roof, which we knew was going to happen. I've got a CM Punk shirt on underneath this hoodie right now. So he's paying for himself. When I said there was no downside to signing CM Punk, this is absolutely what I was talking about. But here's the kicker. This is the bigger fuck you to the IWC. Now apparently Triple H and WWE and TKO are using CM Punk as the big selling pitch for the Monday Night Raw TV package. Listen, did you hear that? He's a selling pitch for he just probably doubled the value of Monday Night Raw's TV rights contract. Imagine right now being Tony Khan and hearing these stories, hearing that CM Punk added value to TV negotiations when you are in the middle yourself of struggling to get your TV deal put together, when there are rumors running around that your company is losing money because you cannot secure TV rights. You are hearing the rumors that CM Punk is adding value to the WWE's TV rights package. But CM Punk was the problem, right? CM Punk was the problem in AEW. Hey, remember when everyone said WWE didn't need CM Punk? How opinions change so quickly. So quickly. When you start looking at numbers and you stop thinking like a dipshit IWC who thinks it's all about just the X's and O's and the flips and the kicks, when you start looking at this as a business, then you grow up and you understand and you realize and you start talking like myself and you say that there was never a point in time that I thought WWE didn't need CM Punk. But I'm going to go one step farther. I think it's time that now we have to start talking about the long-term booking with CM Punk, because I think a lot of people thought that CM Punk was just brought in to put Seth Rollins over. I think we have to stop that train of thought. I think it might be time to turn these tables around and start talking legitimately about a CM Punk World Heavyweight title run very quickly while the iron is hot. I know you have plans, WWE. I know you have plans, Triple H, but I've always said one of the biggest problems in pro wrestling is waiting until these irons cool off. Right now, the CM Punk iron is as hot as it's ever going to be. We have to legitimately start talking about, at WrestleMania 40, the possibility of CM Punk walking out as World Heavyweight Champion. We have to have that conversation. We heard on Monday Night Raw the CM Punk chants. They drowned out. There was a faint but it was not as loud as the CM Punk chants, and it's time to have real conversations. It's time to have real conversations about, is CM Punk bigger than Cody Rhodes? Maybe, right? Is CM Punk bigger than LA Knight? Probably so. Hell, let's throw it out on the table. Is CM Punk bigger than Roman Reigns? I think it's possible. I honestly do. I think that the way he has come back and positioned himself in the company, he might have done everything so perfectly right that he has aligned himself as a likable character within the WWE. And now we have rumors floating around about Seth Rollins' contract being up in 2024, which once again just gives you more reason why you could hitch a wagon to someone like CM Punk moving forward. Now, let's be realistic. I think Seth Rollins resigns. There's no reason not to. But what if? What if Seth Rollins decides to take a year off? What if Seth Rollins hits the nuclear button and goes to AEW? Right now, it's looking like CM Punk is a guy that at least for the next 2 or 3 years can put the wagon, you can hitch the wagon to him and you could ride this horse to the promised land. Now, the Royal Rumble conversation has to get real spicy. Like, we have to start having legitimate conversations. Cody Rhodes, LA Knight, Sheamus, CM Punk, all viable options in my book. So many possibilities. Right now, if you're asking me, if you're asking Nerdy D, you're asking the casual wrestling community, CM Punk is the odds-on favorite to win the Royal Rumble right now just because of what that will lead to. A confrontation between CM Punk and Seth Rollins and how that plays out. Cody Rhodes doesn't need it. Roman Reigns doesn't need that. That match is set. It doesn't need any extra flair. Cody's talked about finishing the story. He could get there however he gets there. That match is set up to be what it is. But you have the possibility right now to make CM Punk versus Seth Rollins the biggest match on the WrestleMania 40 card, which I don't think anybody expected was a real possibility. Night 1 of WrestleMania, CM Punk, the Royal Rumble winner versus Seth Rollins, makes sense. Label the match to see who is the best in the world. You have CM Punk coming off of the momentum of Royal Rumble, and that shit is going to explode. Night 1 of WrestleMania will sell out maybe faster or be more anticipated than Night 2 of WrestleMania. You mark my words on that. I truly believe. Let's go back 3 or 4 weeks before, longer than that. Let's go back 2 months before CM Punk's deal came together. I think, CM Punk is stepping in and taking the path of LA Knight. I think the plan was for LA Knight to probably win the Royal Rumble and go on to challenge Seth Rollins, which still would have been a hell of a match, but it's not CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. It was not going to be the biggest match on the WrestleMania card. And I just want to reiterate that a month ago, a lot of IWC were screaming that WWE didn't need or didn't want CM Punk. And I want to reiterate right now to the IWC and to the AEW fans who secretly listen to this show, pay attention. Understand, your guy Tony Khan, your Booker of the Year, the guy y'all think is the greatest wrestling promoter of all time. I want you guys to understand that coming out of WrestleMania 40, there is a high probability that your 2 world champions in WWE are 2 guys that Tony Khan let walk out of his company. Let that sink in. Cody Rhodes and CM Punk could be the 2 top guys in WWE coming out of WrestleMania 40, and they're 2 guys that Tony Khan let walk away. But hey, you know what, guys? IWC, send him another Booker of the Year award. I'm sure he could use it with all the money that he's losing. Whatever. Look, I think there's somebody in WWE that I owe a major apology to, and I will let you guys know who that is coming out of this break.